Try HelloFresh UK to get 60% off your first box, 25% off for 2 months, and to, of course, help support this channel. Link is down in the description. Thank you for your support. Well, depending on how this day goes, we could have a disastrous second season at Yokohama. I thought that FM24 was just great across the board for recruitment, but it turns out it might have just been Hiroki Izumi. Two superstars have left the club, including one that gives us a big problem in the squad. And today, although there's a couple of good players that are being negotiated with, it's not a patch on what we've lost. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 27 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. The FM24 edition might be heading into its first difficult season here. We've got transfer deadline day in Japan, we'll get a League Cup tie done off camera and then face Yokohama FM in the big derby between the two Yokohama clubs. If you're looking forward to all of that, as well as seeing which stars have left the club and who on earth has come in to replace them, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Of course, you can see from the player stats section there that one of the new boys has hit the ground running, but he keeps picking up knocks as well, so might not be a reliable source of goals. Let's start though by looking at the transfer centre, because although the table looks fine, it was partly down to picking up half of our points before 2 stars were sold, and it also applies that we've played 3 of the bottom 5 at home, so we can't take too much from it. If we have a look at the transfers though, there is potentially at last a right wing back coming in. That is the deal being negotiated at the moment. Takashi Achino, potentially a good player, has played in Germany, has played for our Yokohama rivals, and might make his debut against his former club if he comes in. He is wanted also by Kyoto, so there may well be some interest elsewhere, and a bit of a battle for his signature, but it's suggesting he's going to make his decision imminently, so fingers crossed. But looks a good player, would be our first choice right wing back, would be an improvement at last. What isn't so good is the transfer history. There is money galore coming into the club, but that's because 2 of our best players have left. So since you were with me, Kenta Ueno has gone to Shimizu, and while he's probably the least good of the 2 players that have gone, he's the one that's most annoying because he was the first team player who was homegrown at the club, and it meant that we didn't have to fill the bench with Dross, which now we're going to have a bit of an imbalanced bench and a few experienced pros missing out. He's moved on to Shimizu, who have poached both of these players, and Kenta Ueno at 19 years of age, the homegrown superstar, has moved on, and he's going to be in a title race this year, in fairness. As is our superstar striker from last year, and our former Gifu loanee, Junki Mochizuki, for $2.5 million. He has also gone to Shimizu, having scored 25 in 35 last year, got 9 for us at Gifu as well. And he's also off the mark for Shimizu already, but the last 2 games before he left, he was the superstar. And unfortunately, with him now having left, we've lost a lot of our goal threat. We're certainly not winning games as comfortably. So those are the 2 big ones going out. There was a youngster out on loan as well, but nothing worth getting excited about. The ins so far to replace them, not been quite as inspiring. I should mention Baluk again because despite his average attributes, he's been brilliant. He scored 4 in 8 appearances. When he started, he's done well. Just keeping him fit is going to be the issue. We've got a youngster in Luis Otavio who, a young right winger, doesn't fit the tactic, isn't great. We've also got Ryo Matsumoto, who is not very good. A striker who can't finish, who can't head the ball, and doesn't have any pace or strength, not ideal. We've got a first team addition in Mitsuharu Nakano. He is, I guess, the replacement for Kenta Ueno. A fraction of the price, but not homegrown, and a fraction of the quality too. He's 5'10". The only positive is he's a natural left-sider, but even then, he's done okay in his 3 games, but he's come into the top tier for the first time. He will do okay for us, I've no doubt in that. But he doesn't help us improve on our finish last year, which then makes progression pointless in this save. The next one is Yuya Asano. I was gutted about this signing. Not because he's not an okay player, but he was brought in as our replacement for Shunki Mochizuki, and he is not a patch on him. 325 grand, he can't finish, he can't pass, he's got no technical ability really. And I'm almost playing him as a backup number 10, but the 2 games he's featured in so far, he's been poor. He's not got the greatest attributes and he's already 30 years of age, but to promise him regular football, to bring him in as a replacement for a superstar, is very frustrating. So I'm desperately hoping there'll be another striker today, but I wouldn't bank on it the way we've been going. One more youngster has come in, Kazuki Sagano, who is atrocious, as you can see. So unless we get the right wing back in and then a bit more happens, I'm very worried about today. At the request of the director of football, we have transfer listed Yuri Lara. Tagagi is wanted as well, may well end up moving on loan. And there's a couple of other homegrown players who are wanted too, so I'm watching that carefully because the backup goalkeeper, the two backup young defenders, and who was the other one? Morishima in midfield. They're the only four first team level players that are homegrown at the club. If we lose another one of them, we're going to be down to genuine dross from the under-18s filling the bench, which is not ideal. So I'm interested to see if anyone goes out today. The skipper has forced his way onto the transfer list as well. It's just a little bit frustrating. We've had constant injuries to 3 or 4 players. I mentioned Baluk, but Suzuki, the left wing back, Ishida's barely been fit. Vitalucci hasn't at all. There's just little bits that are grinding. And overall, although we're 5th, the table is tight. And this time we've benefited from a very friendly start. We have a look at the schedule since you were last here. We actually backed up the Hiroshima game with 2 really good performances. We were 1-1 with Kashiwa and actually really struggling prior to half time. But in the second half, Mochizuki turned it on. 2 goals, 2 assists. He was brilliant. And we put them to the sword, but they are in the bottom 5 at the minute. So they are one of the 3 home teams we should have been beaten. And considering we've only won 2 home games, that's not ideal. We played Cerezo Osaka and beat them 4-1. Again, we went behind, but Baluk and Mochizuki were brilliant. And then guess what happened after this game? Could you possibly imagine that this is when the 2 superstars left? Ueno played, Mochizuki scored. Against Vissel Kobe, last year's champions, neither of them were in the team. Kota Kudo played that game, Agawa played it. They weren't great, as you can see. And we were also without 1 or 2 due to injury. We were so comfortably outplayed. Into March, we thankfully got 3rd tier opposition in the League Cup. We rotated and managed to win pretty comfortably. Ishida, a brace from Takahashi and Agawa, all in the first 20 minutes in fact, to put the tie beyond doubt. Then no, we had a bit of a stinker. I said we're not going to show the game against Gifu because we beat them comfortably both times last year. Well, not this time around. 3-1 defeat, of course. We did have our problems with those 2 players that had left and hadn't yet been replaced at that stage. But Ryo Kubota got the opener against us, Go Hatano made a howler, and Kota Kudo, the man who came into defence after we lost Ueno, also made a mistake leading to a goal. We did though sneak a 1-0 win at home to relegation favourites Tokyo V, Sekiguchi nicking the goal there, Suzuki coming back and getting injured again. A 2-1 win at Kyoto, probably the best result of the season on paper. They're the only side in the top half we've beaten, and Baluk and Sakaragawa got the goals. A 2-0 win in the second leg against Namazu, Ando, the young right wing back, and Ishida, the experienced number 10 with a goal each. Then we were held at home to the bottom side, Fukuoka, and it was Agawa who got the goal. Great for him because he'd been poor this season, but not a good result, not a great performance. And when you consider they haven't won a game yet this year, that's pretty disappointing, isn't it? So you can see the sides we've beaten, Tokyo V and Kashiwa, both in the bottom half. Shimizu's still there at the minute with our 2 new stars. And Fukuoka held us. We've played Gifu, who beat us in 14th. And we've beaten Osaka in 12th as well. The only team we've beaten above that is Kyoto. And we'll be hoping to change it today. But this transfer deadline day is now important. Let's go and get through it. It's expected to be a quiet one. Apparently, we're considering a move for Nagoya's Shunichi Sato. He's a good young midfielder. And an 18 would be a good signing, but we just know he'd be sold on a year later. And Oita have been linked with one of our young players, which is fine by me. We have a look at the deadline day rumours. Achino would be the big one. And I would love a replacement for Mochizuki, but we're not going to get that. Few youngsters being linked with moves away. Any money in is fine. But let's go and take part in deadline day. Plenty of money to spend after selling 2 of the stars. But will he spend it? And will he spend it wisely? Sean Holmes, you've been a little bit of a letdown so far. What on earth can you deliver for me today? Get yourself in gear, stop playing around and sort your act out. You've got great attributes and you should be delivering. You've got 16 hours to do so. Well, it softens the blow a little bit because the first news of the day is good news here at Yokohama FC. We've finally got a right wing back in who maybe can be that long-awaited replacement for Bouchari who left last September. Takashi Achino joins the club. He is a very good footballer, and we've had to pay a bit of money to the rivals, but that deal is worth it. A good J1 League player. We're going to train him to get better in the wing-back role, and once he's done that, he should be good to go. But he's pretty good defensively. He's got solid attributes, and at 26, he's not going to be declining anytime soon. Good signing. Now back it up. Well, an hour later, and it is a bit of deja vu from the last window because we have got a loan offer going in for Vissel Kobe's Hikaru Masashima. The same holding midfielder he got on loan the second half of last year. 3-star ability, 4.5 potential. Still not naturally fit, still not a great player, but would be a useful addition to the squad, particularly with the midfield injuries we've had. There's also a loan approach for the goalkeeper. No! He's a crap young goalkeeper, but he allows us to fill a slot on the bench with a homegrown keeper. Why would you loan him out? It's such a poor decision and it's so frustrating. 11 hours to go. And even though we're bringing in better players now, we're basically just losing a substitute place out of that. Really, really annoying because you've got to have a sub-goalkeeper. And now it's going to be a foreign player instead of a homegrown one. Very frustrating. Well, there it is confirmed. Our second homegrown first team player to leave this summer. And it is Takafumi Takahashi, the goalkeeper. He's gone to Namazu in the third tier, who we just battered in the cup. Really annoying that, I've got to be honest with you. There's more loan and transfer offers coming in. The Masashima offer was negotiated. Talking about £2 million. Very interesting deal Sean Holmes is going for. I think he's got a bit more faith in this kid than I have. Let's go and get through the remaining 10 and see if anything else occurs. Well, I didn't notice on that last screen he'd actually rejected us, Masashima. He's gone on loan to Niigata already, so definitely won't be coming in. Jack Fitzwater has now picked up a knock, which will count him out of the next League Cup tie. And we've had another loan offer for another one of our homegrown players. Thankfully, this time it's been rejected. Masaki Ando has actually featured a bit this year, more through necessity because I'm having to put him on the bench. But if we lose him as well, we're going to have a very weak substitutes bench this season. And I really don't understand how, of all the positive changes this year, that the fact that you need homegrown players of quality in the squad isn't being understood by the director of football. It's my one big bugbear, and with 9 hours to go, it might end up costing us a few games this year. Well, that's it then. One of the quietest deadline days I can remember having. I've just seen a wonder kid has left the league, and maybe that's a positive, that other teams are weaker. Few players going to the Netherlands and Portugal. Blimey, he is a wonder kid as well. But in terms of our day, all we had for the rest of it were a few rejected loan offers, nothing particularly exciting, and one rejected offer for Goto of about 100 grand, who is a pretty young centre-half that I'm not really sure why he's so destined to keep. In terms of the roundup though, well, Shimazu the biggest spenders because they spent half of that stealing our two best players, and that has left me very frustrated. I can kind of see the model the director of football's working to. You've got to find better replacements than some of those. If we look at the positives of the day in isolation though, we didn't lose anyone, bar that stupid backup goalkeeper, which now we're going to have to lose a spot on the bench. But we have got in a first choice right wing back who's going to be an improvement. So there is a positive to come out of it. Now though, I'm going to get through the League Cup tie off camera. It's against top half, top tier opposition and will probably be difficult for us, but we've got to prioritise the league and getting safe because the Yokohama derby is just 3 days later. And I've got to trawl the under 18s to try and find another homegrown star. Back in a moment for kickoff. Well, it's fitness test time after another frustrating week. And to be fair, we talked about the start to the season we had and why we're perhaps still competitive. If I show you the next 3 games at the top of the screen, we've got the Yokohama derby away today. Then we host top of the table Kashima on Wednesday before third place Kawasaki on Saturday. This is where we start to fall down the table. Suzuki is just about returning to fitness, but we've got more problems as well. Another one of the homegrown players, Masaki Ando, he picked up a knock in training yesterday after I'd rested him in midweek to make sure he was fit for the bench, and we're now even shorter. What I have done is found an atrocious goalkeeper in the 18s who's homegrown at the club, just to tick that box. But even then, we've not got the 4 now. So let's go and get through to this game via the schedule because we've actually got a decent draw in the week in the League Cup. I rotated virtually everyone. We still drew 1-1 on the road. Takahashi equalising after an early setback. But now we go into a game 5th v 6th, but we're going to be on the slide. We're facing our Yokohama rivals for the first time on camera, and this is going to be pretty fun. Let's go and get through to it with plenty of changes made. We'll pick our 11 for today's game. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, this is far from an ideal situation, that's for sure. We've had to bring in a 17-year-old striker to the bench in place of the new signing who is 3-star ability. That's just to fill the homegrown quota. And we've now got a lack of depth and a lack of balance on the bench. It's so infuriating. I've gambled on Suzuki coming back in today because Lord knows we need the best team available. And this is the 11 I've gone for in full with Go Hatano in goal. Nakano, Perales and Fitzwater at the back three. Achino coming in for his debut with Suzuki on the other side. There are backups for both of those on the bench if need be. Kralicki is joined by Theatrical in the middle with Baluk making that number 10 role his own. And then Agawa and Sakuragawa at the front two. Neither have been great this season. We saw Solomon last year banging goals galore. This season he's been a little bit quiet. So let's hope we can find some service for him today as we head into the Yokohama derby, and this one is going to be a big one. Well, 3 changes made for our host today. Cameron Schofield, the manager, someone I've never heard of. They have got some very good players in their team though, and they caused us some troubles at times last year. The pressure is all on them though. They will be the favourites. They're actually one of the title favourites this year. And with our squad weakening, with a couple of defeats on the table, the same for them in truth. It's going to be a tense game, but if we concede first, we've got no chance here. We've got to try and keep it tighter. We're going to have to play a bit more carefully than last year. Achino is a better defensive wing-back. Suzuki is a more central player. And it almost becomes a 4 and a 4 when we're attacking. It's a bit weird. But defensively, we've got to keep that shape with a 5. And ultimately, if Agawa can't replicate what Mochizuki did, we're not going to have the goals in the team to do what we did last season. As Kralicki finds Suzuki on the left to Nakano. Back into Perales in the middle of the back three. Fitzwater, who's been told off for training poorly, gets it wide to the debutant Achino. And it's good football, but where's it going? It's just for the sake of it at the minute. Theatrical slightly deeper. He finds Achino now. Is this where it clicks into gear? On his debut to the byline. Great run. I said he wasn't great going forward. Almost did it there. Great cross for Sakuragawa. And his header hits the post. But you know what? That's promising as we've got a corner with Suzuki. Up to the back stick. Another one off the woodwork. This time Agawa. It's back out to Suzuki. He's in the box. He beats one. He beats two. That's magnificent. That is the man we've been missing most of this season. And when Keita Suzuki is fit, we've got a different threat in the wing-back area. A player who can cut in and do something himself. It's been a great first half performance. What an outcome this is so far. The increased wing-back quality is definitely making a difference. And you know what? The hosts have been abysmal. Not the big crowding I expected for this game. And certainly not the performance I expected from the hosts. As they put the ball up to the edge of the box now. I say all of that. If they get a goal and they go in level, they won't care less. It's Nishimura with the goal. It's such a poor one to concede. We're done out wide. It's a good ball in. And Nakano, he's not big enough at the back stick. That's the big problem we've got. It would normally have been Moraes in years gone by, wouldn't it? Theatrical play short to Perales. It is funny to think how much weaker we've got in the back three. To lose Moraes and Ueno in the same window. Then Bashari a couple of months before. Then Mochizuki the top scorer. It's frightening. As Nakano again from the back. Bit of a dodgy pass. We're going nowhere with it again. You wouldn't have thought I'd taken a shorter passing off, would you? It's in the midfield with Theatrical. Up to Sakuragawa. That's better to Baluk, who's been the star of the season. Finds Suzuki, who's been the star of the day. And he's claiming he's been tripped there. It looked close to the box, I've got to be honest with you. And we're going to VAR now. We're checking for a penalty. No, it's outside the box. Foul given. Shirt pulled, so where's the yellow card, referee? Bottled it, haven't you? We've got a free kick, though, with 6 in the middle. And Theatrical, will he go for the shot? Or will he look for the target man? He goes for the shot. And it was the wrong decision. Nowhere near the target. 1-1 it will be at half-time. A very good performance. An average scoreline. But at the start of the day, we would have taken this. So we say well done. We ask the lads to keep it up. And hopefully, they can produce in a second as well. As it's a corner kick for Cooney at the front post. No, 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 no. Not like this. We've played so well. And I know I can't complain because, like, the Kyoto away game, the home game against Tokyo V, we were awful in both of them and we got the win. But this feels incredibly harsh. We've been by far the better side. We've had the better chances. But I go back to what I said before. Where are the goals coming from without Mochizuki? Because he didn't just score them. He created a lot of Sakuragawas as well. Is that a penalty? No way. The referee's given us a get out of jail card. No way on earth that's a penalty kick, is it? Let's have a look at our penalty takers. We've not got one set, actually. We'll put Baluk on it because he has been the goal machine this season. I think he has been taking them anyway. Now that is very interesting. Penalty kick given. They've said it was a surprise decision, but he also got clattered. A little bit contradictory. Baluk, big penalty right down the middle. Hit with power. Hit into the roof of the net. And we're back on terms. Deservedly so, by the way. Baluk gets us back there again. He has been the man. With 20 minutes to go, I like to take Agawa off, but with Takahashi injured and having lost Mochizuki, we've only got the 17-year-old there. I could put Ishida up front, but he's got no legs. I tell you what, Agawa might have won a penalty. It's another VAR check on the edge. His dive was outside, but I say his dive, his fall was outside, but the foul was in it. No, free kick again. Flathead looked a harsh decision. Again, you've got to make your mind up. Theatrical with a free kick. There's 6 in the middle. We deserve a win. Can we find it? Fitzwater doesn't even jump. It's out as far as Nakano. He can find the delivery but doesn't. With 15 to go, we will now make changes. Morishima on for Theatrical. Ishida will come on for Agawa. And then at wing back, I'm going to protect Suzuki. It said not to give him 90. I'm going to bring Shiba on for Nakano, who's been weaker. We'll go Perales and Fitzwater over 1. And then we'll bring Sekiguchi on for Achino. It's been a good debut. But again, late on, let's go for the tried and trusted, the developed relationships. Atano plays out with a goal kick. Big ball forward to Baluk. Karicki wins the second one. Morishima the third. Ishida can't get there though. That lack of physicality is going to cost us, isn't it? Pakash down the left-hand side. Nishimura already got one. Finds Misao in the middle. Lovely football from the hosts here. Chipped over to Suzuki. It's poor defending. Is that the man we had on loan at Gifu? I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. He came on loan. He barely played a game for us and then he got recalled. He's a great finisher if nothing else. Was he offside though? Please don't let this be an unjust defeat. Goal awarded, it's fine. It's infuriating as well. We've dominated this game. Ishida finds the right wing back Sekiguchi, who passes it straight back to them. Very powerful back pass, which was pressing the keeper, and he's put it away poorly. Funaki can come onto it. He gets down the left-hand side. It's well defended in the end, but cleared as far as Kralicki. Funaki again. Back to Morishima. Back to Kralicki. Off the crossbar. Oh, we've done everything but win this game. Look at those stats. How have we conceded 3? Oh, short free kick. Oh my God, he's given a penalty. I mean, that animation must be bad because I literally saw his foot touch the ball. If this is given, it's a disgrace. How much have you paid this referee? It's going to be 4-2. How on earth have we conceded 4 goals in this game? Great penalty into the corner. Nishimura again. He has been a superstar, and to be fair, he's a very good player. How on earth have we come out losing this 4-2? Just how on earth? Look at those stats. 2.5 expected goals. They've not even got 2 with the penalty. And we've lost it 4-2. A very good performance. A very poor defensive display. But it's the quality in both boxes that makes the team, isn't it? We've lost our best attacking player. We've lost our best defensive homegrown player. And I think it's showing in these performances. Let's go and get through to the schedule and see when we're going to be back. But that one, it's an absolute sickener. Well, if we have a look at the schedule, of course we know the season's top heavy, so I'm not going to leave it too much longer. I'm going to come back for a pretty big doubleheader at the start of May. We come up against Yokohama's former manager from the job that we almost got, Urawa Reds, and then we face Shimizu, who of course will have Ueno and Mochizuki in the team. That's the reason I've got to show that one. We'll show the big game before it as well. I mean, FC Tokyo were the other club that tried to nick Mochizuki, and they tried to get Sakuragawa too, but we're going to show those first 2 games of May, 2 of the title favourites, 2 of the better sides, and after some of the games we've got this month, particularly the next 2, I wonder if we're still going to be in the top half. If you're looking forward to finding out and you did enjoy this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the transfer window as a whole, and in particular of deadline day there. Have you noticed the same issue with the homegrown players? It doesn't seem to be factored into decisions. If you want to stay up to date and find out if we can bounce back from a poor window and a ridiculous defeat, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time with more action from this one, providing I don't lose my voice at the next Luton game again. But in the meantime, we'll be back with Southend United tomorrow. Plenty of fun to be had there as we start another new season. If you missed yesterday's transfer special, it's up in the eye above from that one, as well as the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and so much more. Don't forget to check out HelloFresh UK, link in the description below to get started and help support the channel. And thank you very much for watching, for joining me for the Yokohama derby. We played really well, but the result is not in our favour, and now we've got some head scratching to do.